Hello and welcome to what's going to be a very long Pauper video. So I'm recording this after just playing through the Pauper Qualifier. Unfortunately ended up ninth on the second tier of breakers, but I had a great time playing my pet deck and getting to play in a competitive tournament for once in a while, as opposed to playing leagues and uh, messing around a bit more there. So for those of you that have watched my kind of channel before, I've been playing this black sacrifice deck for quite a while. The key thing, and well, I guess how I always describe it, is we're an aggressive black creature deck backed up by snuff outs. Obviously, that can be quite a nice place to be. And then we've got the key card in Reaping the Graves, which gives us the ability to go long, outgrind people, against blue decks that can't be counterspelled. So if we break down the deck, if I split it out a bit now, we've got 11 creatures that are payoffs for sacrifice effects or sacrificing things in Carrion Feeder. We've got 8 sacrifice something draw to effects, and then a whole bunch of effectively fodder that we want to sacrifice for some value. 8 of these make treasures, which allow us to cast our Reap in the Graves or allow us to accelerate through more quickly. 8 of these make 2 bodies, which obviously give us more counters for our sacrifice effects. Then I'm playing 2 Snuff Outs main and 2 Unexpected Fangs. Not completely sold on the Fangs, but it's nice to have something that's obviously, against mono red or something. They're situationally very, very good. Sideboard wise, Rotom Union's my graveyard hate of choice. It, synergizes with our sacrifice theme. Weather the Storm is just the best thing I can find against mono red. Fangs is nice, but if they can leave up bolts, it's easy for them to potentially play around. Weather's just fantastic. Obviously, we're playing this off of 8 treasure creatures and 4 deadly disputes, and I found it consistent enough. The 2 remaining snuff outs for Glee or creature decks. I went on to 2 Accursed Marauders because I kept getting matched up against bogles, or I got matched up against bogles like once or twice and kept losing. There seems to be enough of a running round. I didn't want to be stone cold to it, so I put in 2 Accursed Marauders and then 4 Mesmeric Fiends. Again, um, I really value this card, against Turbo Fog, against combo decks. Um, it's insanely good with Reaping the Graves. Like the first Mesmeric Fiend is okay. When you can Reaping the Graves back, 1 or 2 Mesmeric Fiends, you start really tearing their hands apart. So I bring it in against combo decks, against anything where they have some individual extremely powerful cards. Other than that, I don't tend to bring it in against, a control deck or something. Um, don't want to have too many things that they can, you know, we play them as a green for 2 mana, they just counter it. It's not a terrible exchange for them. Alternatively, the worst case is you play this with a carrion feeder out, and then they kill your carrion feeder, and you're just stuck with a normal mesmeric fiend, and that's really bad. Um, Coming back to the kind of creatures in the main deck, the other thing I will say is you are obviously all playing black creatures, so snuff outs are completely dead cards against you, which I think is a really good place to be right now. Obviously, we're playing snuff outs. Lots of decks are. They are, a vital tool to fight the Glee menace. So, having the opponents have a couple of dead cards in game one is a really nice place to be. So with that, I will jump into recordings of the Pauper Challenge. So one last thing before jumping into the matches, I built myself a little spreadsheet to track win-loss ratios with different decks. If I filter it to this mono black, this is updated for the qualifier. Got my results here, who I played and so on. You can see, so between league matches and this qualifier, I'm now 27 and 10, so it's pretty sizable win ratio across a good number of matches. So hopefully enough here to convince people this is a real deck. Let's see how the matches go in the qualifier. Hello and welcome to round one of this Pauper challenge. We're on the play. I think we're gonna. Hand doesn't really do anything, but we do have a lot of good draws. I'm leaning towards mulligan. So this is okay. We'll keep and put back probably the second rights. The second rights effect, we've got the dispute. Opponent moves to 5, which is always kind of a worrying sign for the bogles radar. We're playing the same main deck that we've been playing for a while, and then sideboard we put in 2 Accursed Marauders, so that we've tried and got something for the bogles matchup. I don't really want to attack in case they've got an intruder. They're on fairies. Fairies is more popular than terror at the minute, so it looks like blue-red spread, or alternatively, I don't know, like a Ephemerate, but blue control deck, which we like Reaping the Graves for. So hit off an Augur Bolus. I think I'm just going to play the Beetle. I'm going to attack with the Infiltrator. No effects. I'm trying to think whether I want to sacrifice the Carrion Feeder. Don't think we will. So it is Jeskai Ephemerate. Now they are holding up a counterspell. I think we're going to run it back and just attack with the Infiltrator on its own. Unfortunately a bit slow, just chipping in for some damage. We could obviously be being more aggressive with this Deadly Dispute, but I think we try and play another Carrion Feeder. And if they counter it, that's kind of fine. I'm not worried about playing into Breath Weapon. We can figure out how we will grow if that's what they go for. And I think I'm going to start by just sacrificing a... Do I want to sacrifice Carrion Feeder to itself, or do I just want to Deadly Dispute a Carrion Feeder away? If we Deadly Dispute a Carrion Feeder away, they have a counterspell, counterspell in a Scred, it's not great for us. I think I'm going to sack a Carrion Feeder to another one. So they bolt a guy in response. So if we sack this now, storm count is 3, so we'll be able to guarantee get back 2 of these. So we'll have 2 3/3s, and if we basically put 2 Reaping the Graves triggers on the Infiltrator and 1 on the Carrion Feeder. It's a bit of a kind of low bar for this, but hopefully we've managed to kind of, we've managed to navigate these first couple of turns, grow some creatures out. Having not drawn another kind of fodder creature, it would have been very nice to have hit a, one of these. So I think I'm going to start by playing out the Shambling Ghast. They can brainstorm. This is kind of too low, too weak a card for them to really want to bother counterspelling, right? They can think about killing one of our guys in response. So they're going to try and dispute here. If we play our dispute, we're just kind of running that into a counterspell that we think they're representing. So I think I'm just going to sack this. Now do we sack the feeder? We've got a backup feeder, so let's sack the feeder. So they pick this off. Let's try and rebuild. If we start on a carrion feeder, they might counterspell this. They might hold off on for the infiltrator. So they do. So I think we just play the infiltrator onto this board. So we kind of run both sides out of down low on resources now. We've seen the counterspell, or we've drawn out the counterspell that we think they had. We can attack with our infiltrator and deadly dispute the Ghast away if they block. They don't block. Do we want to dispute now anyway? Don't hate it, we'll get the last card out of their hand. Try and make a treasure. See if the draw 2 resolves, we're very happy. We'd rather draw something other than the lands, but we're kind of out of bolt range. Don't want to see a Lauren revealed or a Murmuring Mystic. That's also pretty good. So get back there, Scred. So I think we're just attacking with the infiltrator. And then if they try and ephemerate, we've got a snuff out and then we're back into this top deck war. So I think they probably had the Ephemerate in hand and drew the Archaeomancer, is my guess. So they brainstorm, obviously a strong card. Alternatively, they could brainstorm lot themselves, wouldn't be against that. That's a good one. So we've used one of our snuff outs, we've only got another one in the main deck. I'm going to hold on to the Shambling Ghast if we draw a Reaping the Graves. So did they set up a spell on top for this? Yep. So I feel like this game has gotten away from us. We could have tried to get more value out of the first Reap in the Graves or been more aggressive with the Deadly Dispute, tried to chip in for some more damage. I think those are kind of the two big potential leaks. So the Shambling Ghast, we can get back 2 creatures. Or if we hold it to their turn, we have the potential to get back more. Play the Ghast, although I kind of don't like this now that I've done it. I'm kind of... I think we have to Reap in our turn. So if we get back a Infiltrator and a Carrion Feeder, obviously if they don't know the top card of their deck. If they draw a an effect like a Brainstorm, we might well wish that we held on to the Reaping, but this has kind of worked out okay. That's nice. So we've rebuilt our board a bit. I'm just going to take out a bird token. Now we can make an attack. Obviously I'll happily sack a Shambling Ghast to get through an Aggro bolus. It would just be sacrificed to make a treasure. If we don't have to, we won't, because now we've got protection against their, we can pick off the first bird that they play. So they do hit a Brainstorm the second go. Obviously this can set up the next couple of draws. Counterspell's pretty dead for them at the minute. So we'll go to our turn. I think we just play out the Link Breaker. It means that we're going to make sure, if they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. Maybe I shouldn't have. But my thinking was they wouldn't keep the counterspell. And then if we played out the Link Breaker, it would mean that we were kind of free to attack with more creatures. As is, if we attack like this, bird blocks here, they can like put 3 of these into blocking one of these and take 3. So I think they're going to triple block one of the... What do we want to do about this? So we can sack this to save our guy. I think we need to. Obviously, if we'd have had the Link Breaker, this would have been off the cards for them. So what did they put second from their Brainstorm? It's a very similar situation where if we play this, they can't block for free with their Murmuring Mystic. If they have another counterspell, this is very unfortunate. And we get there. So yeah, there was a spot where it looked pretty bad for us, but the Reap in the Graves pulled us back in, and then we drew, fairly fortunately compared to, I don't know what their second Brainstorm was. Nice. So in this matchup, I want some Rotten Reunions to stop the Ephemerate loops. I want some more Snuff Outs to kill, specifically Murmuring Mystic. I don't want Unexpected Fangs. Link Breaker's kind of on the low end of my sacrifice outlets. And I've not typically been bringing in Mesmeric Fiend in this matchup. Just 2 mana is quite hard to set up. I don't know whether I want the full 4 snuff outs. It depends on how many Murmur Mystics they're going to be on the main and side. I'm just going to have a quick look at their recent decks. So having a look at their most recent deck, which was, it looks like 5-0 today, so a nice warm-up. They're on 2 Murmur Mystics, so I think 4 snuff outs is fine. Obviously, the Rotimi Union kind of plays a similar role to the Link Breaker in that it can make 2 creatures. I think I'm just going to run without the Mesmeric Fiends. Let's have one last check of their list. So some Destroy Evils, 3 Screds, 2 Bolts. 1 Thraben Charm. Right, for the last Link Breaker, I'll make it a Mystic. And then, so 3 Rotimi Union, 1 Mesmeric Fiend for some Link Breakers and some Expected Fangs. So we can't keep this on 7. We can keep this on 6, and we can put back, I think it's probably the Village Rites. So we're just going to dangle out a Carrion Feeder that's going to be very likely to be bolted down, but what can you do? Well, the Mesmeric Fiend's a good draw. I guess kind of the downside of it in this situation is, yeah, if we played a Mesmeric Fiend with just a feeder in play and they can bolt down the feeder, then then the card's really weak. So we see an Ephemerate. I know they've got 5 1-mana red interaction spells. Do we want to Mesmeric Fiend now, or do we want to try and hold up disputing it away, or playing it with dispute back up? I'm kind of thinking if they just bolt down our stuff, we've got the Reaping the Graves anyway. So we get to do our combo. I'm taking this to mean they don't have any. Okay, so if they had a Scred, I think they definitely should have used it. Do we take the Ephemerate or the Mold Rifter? I'm going to take the Ephemerate because it goes into, so importantly, it goes into exile. And if they kind of tap out for the Mold Rifter, that at least gives us some options. But yeah, I think they definitely wanted to Scred this, so then they'd have been left with, well, they'd have been able to get back whatever we targeted. So they play that island. Ephemerate's gone. So if we attack, getting the Scred out of the graveyard isn't too important, but we've already taken one of their 2 Ephemerates. So I'm just going to Rotimi Union away this Scred. Sack the guy. Try and get them to use the Scred up quite lightly. And then we know 2 of their 3 cards aren't counter spells, so I'm going to dispute away this. Okay, and they drew the counter spell for the turn. That's unfortunate, but so they can just slam the Mold Rifter. That went about as badly as I think it could have gone. So what do we want to do here? I think we're just going to pass and reaping in their turn, hope they play a few spells. We can add 1 to the storm count with our Deadly Dispute. If we sack the Bolt of Whispers, we're left with 2 mana and a treasure. Interesting they're on a Monarch card. I wouldn't have thought they'd bring that in here. There's 1 in the main deck by the looks of it. So I'm going to go for this. If they spell pierce this or something, that'd be hilarious. And do we reaping for 3? Yeah. The alternative is that we just bottom union this down. Then we can, no, less reaping. So we get back our graveyard. Swamp's really nice because it means we can play both carrion feeders before we play the Mesmeric Fiend, which insulates us from their potential scred. And then, again, the reason I'm so high on Mesmeric Fiend specifically is that with Reaping the Graves, you know, it's really kind of when they start looping multiple that the dresses are so good. So I think we're just taking this. So we've got to snuff out for the Murmuring Mystic. I think we still have to take it. I'm not sure we'll have the luxury, so we need to be able to take the. We need to be able to contest the Monarch. So they hit a counterspell. They use the counter here. Is my carrion feeder trading for anything other than a scred? I don't think so. So we might as well force them to use their scred first. Again, I'm happy sacking the first half of the Infestation Sage. And we sack the carrion feeder. So we know the scred's gone and the counterspell's gone. So it looks like we're going to be trying to snuff out the Moldrifter, which is pretty pricey. Do we want to just Rotom Reunion something away so that we can if we just try and Rotom Reunion something away, then we can attack with a Carrion Feeder into the Augurs. I'm more doing it now because of mana efficient, you know, using up our mana so that we can play the Snuff Out. So 4 mana, Snuff out this. This is our kind of way of trying to get to the Monarch. The Ephemerate's really good for them. If they have to burn a removal spell on an insect token, that's, I guess, medium good for us. Going to attack with the gang. I think we're at risk of just being burnt down by bolts here. Oh, breath weapon. Cast into the fire. Okay. Oh, wow, I just let that happen. I didn't sacrifice the insect. By not sacrificing the insect, I'm not threatening to kill either of the Augurs. So, yeah, we lose our feeder to this. We very briefly get the Monarch. Yeah, that was a mistake. And then we are basically on drawing a, well, obviously we're dead to a bolt, and we're on drawing a Reaping the Graves. Oh, we don't have mana for it, so mana to use it well. And that will do for game 2. So the Mesmeric Fiend was really good there. The counterspell on, was it the first infestation state? Yeah, there was a counterspell that where they drew that was pretty annoying. Before the counterspell on the Deadly Dispute was, I think, probably where it got turned around on us. So, any changes to sideboarding? We're on the play again now, where Mesmeric Fiend is better, because if they lead on attack plan, they can't interact. And then I think I'm going to cut some greedy freebooters for them. I was thinking about this before, decided not to, but this is kind of our higher impact, higher impact card. Generally, I really like the Scribe and the freebooter, but let's give this a go. So as we say, on the play in game 3, going to keep this hand. This is one that's going to threaten to grow quite quickly. And if we lead on the carrion feeder, I think it's pretty close as to what we lead on, but the point is that we're going to essentially vomit, or we can make 2 4/4s on turn 2, attack with one of them. So we know about a Destroy Evil, is it? The one that the 1 and a white kill a creature with power 4 or greater. But this way we're out of bolt range, we threaten to grow quicker than Scred. We've got a Snuff Out to help force through some damage. Turn off 40 yields now. So we did know that this was a possibility, but I think there's 2 of them in their list, so we're still threatening to get in for some good damage. We're still on board to grow faster than their kind of Scred type effects. So we attack for 6. A second Destroy Evil would obviously be backbreaking. And then don't know what I'm worried about them doing to our Infestation Sage. So we can deal with a blocker. Double bolt, would work. And still go down to 3. And we get there. So, oh, I feel like this deck's really interesting because you just get put in a situation where, you just have to do whatever. You have to do what the cards say, and if they say you're on the play, you just make 2 4/4s on turn 2, you have to do it. And then you get a lot of games like the first 2 where you're kind of trying to piece together where to get a dispute in and so on. Good games. Welcome back to round 2. We're going to keep lands and spells, what we like to see. I'm not used to having to wait between rounds in the scheduled events. It just takes forever. So hand is obviously improved a lot by a sack outlet, but we can cast all our spells. What more is there to want? Opponent's mortar 6. So opponent in round 1, mortar 5 in game 1. So it looks like it's going to be Elves. The Carrion Feeder is a really nice draw. So I'm going to lead on the feeder. So Elves is a bit of a weird matchup in that we can grow our creatures really big, but they've got so many chump blocks and we really, feel not having trample. I think it gets a bit better post-board where we've got some more snuff outs to, pick off their key threats. See, Shambling Ghast is in the main deck that can deal with some ranges and so on. So this looks like a pretty explosive hand for them. Going to have access to a whole lot of mana next turn. Love to draw a Shambling Ghast. Instead, I think I'm just going to play the Infiltrator so that we're going to have our big clock ready for next turn. Bit of a shame, but we have to hope that, if they're high on the, vomiting creatures side of the deck, they're not going to have too much in the way of a big follow-up. Otherwise, they will just do that elfy thing. That's a pretty big follow-up. That's a pretty big deal. We will be able to outgrow that relatively fast. What with 2, 4, 5 counters in hand. Yeah, they're getting pretty quick. Glad they didn't just send in their stupid elves. So I think we're just on play out our hand. And then we'll be hoping that next turn they will in our next turn they will do something, give us some storm count so we can reap in the graves. I don't think we attack yet. We need our Infiltrator to be pretty good. If that just trades off for the big Avenging Hunter, that's not going to get us there. We go down to 15. It's kind of stretching our snuff out targets a bit now. Yeah, okay. This is a pretty good draw from the opponent, I think. And they hit 4 creatures off that. Yeah, I don't think we're destined to win this one. This is kind of what we're describing, is even if we draw a snuff out for this, say, we're only going to have one creature that can attack profitably, and they've just got so many stupid guys to block with. So I'm assuming everything's coming down. So we do get to eat one of these, right? So we get 5 counters. Start off with a scry. We could have eaten the bigger one. Oh no, we wouldn't survive combat with the bigger one. Because if we have the treasure to sack, then we can make this one bigger. As is, it just means we can leave. If we use the treasure, we can leave a creature in play. So I think I'm gonna leave one of the mercenaries and use the treasure for the counter. This just gives us a blocker for the generous sensei. So just check it. 7-6. We win this combat. Take 7. Go to 8. Nice. So we need to basically draw a snuff out for the Timberwatch elf, which that isn't. I think that's game. No way to beat the Quirion Ranger elf on the hunter. So sideboarding, I want all my snuff out, and I want some Mesmeric Fiends. Again, because their kind of deck is so payoff and I guess ramp and so on, the Fiends are going to be pretty good. I don't think I want Unexpected Fangs. They're kind of tricky. They don't help move the advance. They don't help to advance our game plan, but they sure do help let us keep attacking. If they have like a Avenging Hunter or a non Timberwatch elf start for themselves. I think we cut the link breakers and then sure, I'll cut 2 freebooters and leave in the Unexpected Fangs. Is that fair? Yeah. Let's give this one a go. They're not, they're obviously not great in this matchup, but having access, I wouldn't want to draw both of them in my opening hand, but having access to the card is really good. I don't think we can keep this. We've got the snuff out. We'd set a Mortician Beater if we don't draw a kind of a clock side where it'd be in trouble. This is kind of closer. I think we put back the we probably put back the Reef in the Graves, right? Lands to deploy our threats. Obviously, it's very similar to the last hand where we can threaten to grow a creature quite quick, but because that's not interacting with them, they're kind of uninterrupted draws are better than ours. Opponents move to 5. Do you want to deploy the Infiltrator or freeboots and village rights? I think we have to infiltrate. And then again, we'll leave this at home. I don't think we're... I probably could have attacked. Yeah, I should have attacked. I think they're so unlikely to block. If we don't play this and just kind of show them that we're willing to trade. So they've got access to 2 mana now. That's a good winding way. That way is well and truly wound. So what do we do? I think we're freebooting just for some counters, and then probably village rightsing for the Mesmeric Fiend, and just trying to take the Priest of Titania. So freeboot, get a treasure, get a scry. We're not going to want another land. Now we can Mesmeric Fiend. In response to the trigger, we'll sack it to the village rights. So this could be a good Fangs game. So we're basically saying that we can beat a generous ent up in combat? I don't think I'm beating Quirion Ranger Timberwatch Elf. So I'm leaning towards taking away the Timberwatch Elf. The next turn, yeah, we take the Timberwatch Elf. They might have to do some blocking. We attack them for 7. So we've had, they did their thing game 1. We've done a bit of disruption here. We'll see if they can double. Okay, so they can double Generous Ent next turn, and we're going to really struggle to stop that. Don't love the Vault of Whispers. See, a way to kill the priest would have been fantastic. We will play the Vault because if we draw a Deadly Dispute, that's our best thing to sacrifice. Now, here come a pair of 5/7s. Oh, that was a good winding way. We know they have a forest in hand. So the carrion feeder is not, again, not really what we're after here. Do we play it out? If we play it out, it means that we can Unexpected Fangs and block ends. I think unfortunately that's as good as we're going to get. I guess we don't just block an end, we kill an end, right? So they don't attack. Worried that means they've drawn something else good. Don't love another carrion feeder still. I think we're just going to pass back. This one we can see holding for Storm. I'm very glad we got rid of that stupid Timberwatch Elf. Then we need to draw, a Deadly Dispute, some way to start allowing us to chip in a Snuff Out that we can attack into the Ents with, for example, before they draw another, Winding Way, Lead the Stampede type effects. We really need them to start attacking. Unfortunately, they seem to have identified that as well. They do attack. I don't think we can beat anything funky here. Make our guy into a 6/5. Make our guy into a 7/6. And stop you getting in for damage. So we can't attack because they can untap the Generous Ent still, which they do now anyway. With the Beetle, does that change anything? I don't think so. Unfortunately, we're just passing back again. If they just put everything in front, essentially just put the Ent and everything else in front of the Infiltrator, I think that our attack's too weak. We're still looking for that Snuff Out or a Deadly Dispute type effect. Don't mind another Priest, they've already got effectively infinite mana. The second unexpected fangs is much worse than the first. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe this is the so what we would sack a carrion feeder. Sack this carrion feeder here. Probably have to sack the mortician beetle. And then we're left with and fangs this. So 7, 1, 2, 3. So we can kill 3 creatures, which would what be the 2 Korean rangers and a priest, or 2 priests and a ranger. We're left with a 5/5 against a birch law, a Korean and a sentinel. Is it getting any better than that? I think if we just draw, it's tough. This is definitely going to be the decision point that kind of makes or breaks the game. It comes down to, do we have more big payoffs? We've got 4 snuff outs. I guess the thing is that our payoffs don't have to be that much bigger than theirs. Their payoffs have to be bigger. But Hydra wins the game pretty much on the spot. What do you call it? Timberwatch wins the game on the spot. Hunter's pretty close. But I think we need multiple threats. And then again, if we hold these in hand, then they are additional spells to count the storm count if we do draw a Reap in the Graves. I don't like it. I think I wish well, obviously I wish I was able to attack and move the game forwards. Otherwise, it's just carry on coin flipping who can draw first. That's nice. That's really good. So this is 2 counters already. See the draw 2. So Mortician Beetle, Feeder. And then now, if we attack, we've got access to 9, 10, yeah. I think we work out what we're sacrificing after they decide what they're doing. So that's fine. Do we village rights away one of these now? We're not going to use all of the, we've not really got a use for all of these carrion feeders anyway. Okay. So obviously we can, whatever they play, they can slam this turn, but we're going to be able to hopefully attack with multiple creatures in our next turn. Not as good as the first, that'd be nice. No, that's not as good as the first. The second generous, and again, it can make us possibly struggle to attack in profitably, but I think we're going to outgrow that pretty soon. See, there are a lot of cards that are we'd much rather them see another generous than anything else. But still 3 creatures for them. At minimum, it's 3 turns of chump blocking with stupid elves. Mesmeric Fiend isn't doing anything for us in hand, isn't going to do anything for us, but it's still something I have to play to the board and get some pumps. the reap is good. So we can reap for 3, right? Get back feeder, freebooter, feeder, because again I'm not worried about the Mesmeric Fiend. I don't think we attack this turn, but it's kind of putting them at the point where we're soon going to have 2 creatures that can attack through the stupid Ents. So we've not seen a Snuff Out yet. Snuff Out would make me feel a lot more comfortable. Stampede makes you feel a lot less comfortable. Any number of creature cards. So 2 Timberwatch Elves and a Masked Vandal. The Vandal doesn't have any targets, but 2 Timberwatchers sure are good. What we need to draw a way to draw cards to hit 2 Snuff Outs this turn. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Yeah, don't really want more Mesmeric Fiends. So maybe we have been vanquished. They've got plus 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's a lot of plus. Don't want any more Mesmeric Fiends. What we play 2 Carrion Feeders. We can attack with the Infiltrator. I don't see how we're getting out of 60. 60 is a very big number. But we have to keep, play what we have. Did I F6? Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay. So I think we're struggling to win anyway, but obviously that's not helped. Cool. So yeah, I think unfortunately we just got Elves there. They kind of stronger purely linear deck, and then we didn't draw the interaction that we needed to. So on to round 3. Oh, welcome back to round 3. We're on the draw and we can keep. Got a nice sampling of our 2 kind of red and potentially green. Oh, don't much like Bogles matchup. Essentially, this just comes down to we've got 2 Accursed Marauders in the sideboard and we're going to have to draw them. We're going to have to draw them and they're going to have to be good. See, we've got some Reaping the Grave so we can loop them around a bit, but take 1. I'm going to play the Infiltrator and then we're essentially just going to go all in on pumping those creatures. I'm never going to attack here. It's only 1 damage. They block. We have to spend our whole turn pumping this, and I'd rather have the Unexpected Fangs go on the Infiltrator. Okay. I'll block here if you let me. No blocks now. So we're essentially just going to vomit our hand into play again now. Funny that we drew 2 snuff outs against the Bogles player. That's not how you make this matchup any easier for yourself. So we're going up to 10 power, right? I think I leave 1 blocker so that we can do the leave 1 blocker, do we not want to leave it 2? Yeah, we only need 1 so that we can do the whole block sack in response to lifelink. So an Armadillo Cloak lifelink is good enough. 5/5 we can attack through. Nice to draw the other link breaker. I don't think there's too much to think about now. We pump here. It looks like they're going to have to double block, like block 1 on each. Wow. So I was quite confused when this got another forest, but yeah, I think they were keeping a hand based on, Bogles game 1 is typically so strong. This would be, I think, the first time I've ever beaten Bogles. Well, it's the first time I've ever had a sideboard card for Bogles, but this would be the first time I'd ever managed to win one if we get out of this. So I'm trying to move these out of the way so I can not have this. I think these are Weather the Storms, right? Yeah. These are the 4 Weather the Storms. We're bringing in 6 cards. I don't think we can have snuff outs. The only thing is like Standard Bearer, but we're not on any anything that interacts well with that. I don't think we want freebooters. I think I'd rather, so I guess against a lot of decks I like having freebooter over the link breaker, but against Bogles in particular, actually having each point higher of power really matters. I think this is right. Maybe I'll do a 2-2 split because I'm not, it's one of those different ones are better in different situations. So got 2 freebooters, 2 link breakers. The Curse Mortar, obviously Edict against Bogles. Mesmeric Fiend is basically, if we can snipe the actual do something enchantment out of their hand, then we stand a chance. Otherwise, it might not go our way. So let's run this back. Surprised to win a game 1 against Bogles. And now, quite how much we mulligan to an Accursed Marauder is up in the air. This has turn 3 Mesmeric Fiend. Is that going to be good enough? Other than that, the hand's not even that impressive. Opponent's kept on 7. I don't want to mulligan into Oblivion looking for a, as we saw last game, they just had 2 creatures. If I mulligan to Oblivion looking for a Curse Marauder, that can go badly for me as well. we're kind of hoping that this can snipe a 3-mana enchantment. So get planes. So they've got their third land in hand. This looks like it's going to be too slow. If the Fiend might be too slow, do we want to play it a turn early? It exposes it to ram through, for example. It means we can't loop it round with stupid Reap in the Graves. I guess the other side is if we don't Mesmeric Fiend and we try and link Breaker and Village Rites, that means our sack on the Mesmeric Fiend is like a mana even more expensive. Whereas if we do Fiend, the next turn we can link Breaker and Deadly Dispute, say. So yeah, I hate playing this as just a 2-mana 1/1, but I think this is a spot to do it. So we would struggle to beat a protection from black and red creature. So we're going to get rid of that now. Again, how we do it is the edict effect, but obviously now it looks like they've got 1 million. So they have planes. Cool. So start on Link Breaker. We can attack with the Mortician Beetle because we can Deadly Dispute to sack a guy. The Mesmeric Fiend is never attacking. It's too important to us. This is going to have trample anyway, so I don't see why we wouldn't get in for this point of damage. Now keep the treasure around. So we're going to be racing a 3-power lifelinker to start with. I guess they shouldn't attack with it, right? Unless they draw another, another effect to go with it. Don't like this. Don't like a 3-mana enchantment. Those are the good ones. Armadillo Cloak. Okay. This is going to be up to a 5/3, but that's still manageable. I'm not going to use the treasure. So Carrion Feeder, Freebooter. I think I can Village Rites Freebooter for a treasure. Top a Deadly Dispute. So Unexpected Fangs gives us our own lifelink threat. And I'm not going to, just on the off chance that they have some stupid artifact hate. And I'm going to leave this home because we know about the Rancor unless they drew a different, pump enchantment that they haven't. So this should be able to threaten to block. So I'm going to hold up, I could Deadly Dispute this using one of the treasures, which is 1 mana efficient, but the reason I'm not going to is more about storm count if you draw a Reaping. Infiltrate is another payoff that gets better for us still having the treasure tokens. We'll Dispute now. So we have our first Curse Marauder, but if we play it, we sacrifice the... there's not really a great creature to sacrifice at the minute. And if we play it, so A, we don't have a great creature to sacrifice, and B, what am I thinking? It means that they're guaranteed to slam another creature, whereas as is, they might not. So if we pump the Carrion Feeder here, and then we can attack with these two. I think we sacrifice this. This is 7. We could sack some more to put a, to play out the unexpected fangs, but I don't think we need to. So they drew another creature and played it anyway. So the Accursed Marauder, all that's essentially doing is sacking itself to clear out, well, to give us 2 counters on our beetles. And we hit the Reaping the Graves, which is going to be really nice. So one thing I've been kind of thinking of, whether it's good or not, is we can sack them as Mesmeric Fiend to give them back their Mask of Law and Grace, so that we can, now that we have the Reaping the Graves, we can basically re-Mesmeric Fiend them and make it gone for good. So 2 mana for Marauder, 3 mana for Reaping the Graves, get back Mesmeric Fiend, and I don't like a freebooter. Let's start Marauder. I guess the point is that we're hoping to put them to the point where we've got enough lethal creatures. So we can 2 mana. Yeah, no, we can't. Mesmeric Fiend again. So 1, 2, 3 creatures that can get big. Sorry, 4 creatures that can get big. We need them both all up to like 9 power. Basically, I'm trying to think, is there a way that we can force them to block? I guess we can edict this down. Yeah, so actually Mesmeric Fiend doesn't sound very good. We can edict that down, get back Link Breaker for just a bunch of counters. Yeah. Nice. Nice. The first time I've ever beat Bogles. Accursed Marauder was really good in that it cleared out some blockers for us, but nothing too special. I think opponent definitely ran a bit unlucky in game 1, or kept down that needed something to get there. Game 2, yeah, the Mesmeric Fiend on turn 2 was obviously the difference. If this stupid thing had protection from all our creatures, and we'd have been very dead. Right, happy with that one. I'll see you in round 4. Welcome back. We are on the draw in round 4. Another hand we can keep. And see what we're up against. So the old, much happier if this is terror rather than fairies. I'd rather resolve the beetle, whereas I'd rather deadly dispute one of these, so I think I'm going to play a link breaker. Don't know if that makes sense. I guess what I'm saying is I'd rather, if they, threatening to hold up 2 mana and counter whatever we're doing, I would rather them not be on. Well, I guess if they hold up 2 mana, if it's terror, I'm fine, which it looks like it is. Grand. If it's fairies and they've got spell setter, then playing out link breaker freebooter is pretty miserable. Always appreciate an opponent that has a nice pause when they see our first play of the game. It is that slight edge you get from being on, not many. I would imagine most people in the tournament don't know what a Nazuma link breaker does. So they have a Delver. So I'm just going to play out Mortician, play our land, play Mortician Beetle, play a freebooter. That way, if they have a Force Spike or something, they can only catch the freebooter. We could have attacked first, but either way, we're attacking. So they set this up with Brainstorm. They show us another Brainstorm, so not a huge amount of information there for us. They attack and just pass back. Except we're playing the Link Breaker. This is kind of too low for them to really want to counter. So we're going to attack back for 3 as well. And then presumably they're going to tap a bunch of mana to play some instants in our end step so they can resolve a terror, so they can make a terror cheaper. And when they do, we're going to deadly dispute. Probably the freebooters, we get the scry as well. So expecting at least the Brainstorm, probably some other stuff to come out. We'll play this into a possible Spell Pierce. Basically when they pass priority back to us with only 1 mana up. I don't necessarily think we can be so greedy as to, if they leave 1 mana, to still hold back the dispute. We are going to see if they'll play another spell. If they don't, then they're not advancing their board state. We did effectively. Yeah, they do play some more stuff. Might as well do this before. See, I'll sack the freebooter more because of the scry. If I can bottom a land, that's good. Oh, if I sack this, it means we make the 0/1. Sorry, the 1/1 that can give +1/+0. I prefer that now. Those are some nice cuts. That's kind of what we were hoping for. They've not moved that much closer to playing a terror. If they tap out to try and play a terror, we're suddenly going to be have some very large creatures. Opponent's having a bit of think. So I imagine this is how many things do I have to play to Or can I afford to play in terror? Yeah, they're currently losing this damage race. They brainstorm. And this could be looking for a land, but not sure if that's likely. And having a quick look at what they've played lately, doesn't look like any blue terrors on here. So do they want to tap out for a serpent or a terror? No, another delver. So it looks like we're just basically going to, again, jam a load of things into play. I really want the carrion feeder to resolve on this board. That's going to be very strong for us. So let's not start on the carrion feeder then. If we play out the sage, maybe they interact. Obviously, I think it's unlikely if it is a counterspell that they're sat on. If it's a spell pierce, maybe we could get them to spell pierce the Unexpected Fangs. So let's pump the freebooter. Then we can attack for 5. I'm tempted to drop the fangs here as another way to get them to spend a mana. This is a spell pierce target that they wouldn't otherwise get. This is why I've not played the swamp yet. Go on, you gotta want to spell pierce this. Look at it. There's only 1 mana. You know, you're trying to race me. It's lifelink. I really enjoy the Terra matchup. This is actual factual counterspell. Fine. So we tap them out so we can hopefully put all their other counters. You know, if we don't have any cards in hand, you can't counter anything. So, turn 4 we are Hellbent. Do they flip the Delver? They should have set this up, right? They do with the Thought Scour. So, we've got shots at playing a Terror with protection here. It's 2 mana for a Terror. So down to 1 mana for a Terror. 2 Terrors. And the 2 Terrors have a Thought Scour and another card at hand. And then we can get 2 of our creatures up above 6 power. In our upkeep, we'll sack the freebooter for a scry. I don't think I want, so this puts us to 11. If they attack with this, that puts us to 8, which is a Terror, a Delver. I don't think they're likely to do that. So we just go down to 11, which is a Terror and 2 Delvers. Do we want to gain 3 life? Basically, if we're sacking this anyway, should we just take the opportunity to effectively gain 3 life? I think that makes sense. So we're going to need to be, we're going to need to be attacking, obviously, to win. So we're going to need our creatures up above 6 power to attack. Sacking the insect token now, moves us forwards in that way. They mill us, so they don't. Oh, Mildew Swamps, you'd love to see it. They don't know about Reaping the Graves. Let's hope we can introduce them to the truth. So I do want to sack the freebooter now for this draw. That gives us 5 and 4, I think so. Again, like the difference of scrying a land to the bottom here is so big. So we have a reaping. I think we're gonna top this. Look to play it in their turn. Draw the Reaping the Graves. So we can pump this here. The point is we need to block, we need to have a way to block the terrors. This is, by blocking, we've stopped them having like, what's it called, unblockable for one of these. So I think we leave the link breakers at home. We can attack and then sack them to block anyway, but I think the chance of that kind of paying off is so low. Basically, attacking, like when we sacrifice them, it's effectively making an untapped blocker, isn't it? I think we want to leave them at home because ideally I get to keep like a mercenary token and a link breaker, so Echoing Truth is so unlikely to be played. Yeah, I think I tank with them as well. So, if this is final, I can just throw my Link Breaker and all their tokens in to kill both terrors, and they're left with a Delver against our 5/5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's why I say a 5/5, this thing's going to be huge as well. Doesn't really play around a bounce spell here, that's for sure. But again, if they play multiple spells in their turn, our Reaping the Graves is going to be excellent. And then by removing their clock, that has advantages. So I don't want to see a boomerang. Passing the turn looks a hell of a lot like a boomerang. So do we want to play it? Does it matter if we play this before combat? I don't think so. So we attack, we get bounced. There was an Echoing Truth. Wow. But let me introduce to you our favourite card. So we get back Carrion Feeder, Infestation Sage, Link Breaker, Link Breaker. So a counterspell on the Carrion Feeder does do a pretty good job of stopping us in our tracks. This is not a counterspell on Link Breaker. So they're going to have to block with one of these. We can use the Shambling Ghast. So the old Shambling Ghast dilemma, we can use it to get a treasure for an extra counter on all of our creatures, or we can use it to pick off a bird token next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't see a way to make them block with both. Don't see a way they have to block both creatures, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. So I think I'd rather leave the Ghast in hand. We're definitely playing the Infestation Sage because we want to be able to make the insect token. To block the Delver. So we're keeping the Murmuring Mystic, which is kind of what you would expect. So we have 3 lethal attackers. This time we can hunt one of these in response to an Echoing Truth. Let's see how far they go. Another. Oh, it's got flying. That's good. So we're gonna have to Shambling Ghast down this bird token to make them have to block. Oh, the Snuff Out's good too. Let's show them that we had it kind of both ways. Do you want to let them? Oh yeah, I mean, they're going to figure Snuff Out's in the deal. So yeah, we could just make them block with everything, but this is actually lethal, which is actually better. Nice. Man, Reaping the Graves, just get back 4 creatures. So, what are we on now? Opponent thinks we've arrived to the good list. Hopefully. So against blue terror, I think a Curse Marauder's more tempting. Rotom Union is good against Sleep of the Dead and Deep Analysis. I'm not too worried about going after, um, just picking off random spells out of their graveyard to keep them off of terror. I don't think that's a, consistent plan. So let's bring out the Unexpected Fangs, guessing that, they're going to be on some bounce spells. Do we want some Mesmeric Fiends? I don't think so. We'll have 2 Rotom Unions, so we've got 2 outs to Sleep of the Dead, because otherwise it doesn't matter how big our creatures are if they never attack. And then I think we can cut Freebooters here, because again this is a matchup where, being able to block 2 creatures with the Link Breaker is really nice. Let's give this a go. We've not really changed our fodder too much. We've changed our fangs for fangs for snuff out. Yeah. Let's run it back. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan. Opponent also mulligans. I don't love it. The snuff out Vault of Whispers combo. So we've already moved to 6. If we draw a second land, basically, I've said a few times, but I think mulliganing to 5 in this deck is really rough because you need to have, a couple of lands and a high enough density of spells to make a Reaping the Graves effect really good. So I think I'm going to end up keeping this and put back like a Shambling Ghast. We've got Delver Secrets covered. If we draw a second land, we're rolling, especially a swamp. Trying to work out whether I can keep the infestation, whether I can put back the sage, but with this potentially being a kind of dump all your creatures into play type hand. 2 gas would kill this still. What, lead on Carrion Feeder? So let's see whether they flip this. If they don't, our play is pretty set. Nope, they do. So a swamp and we are rolling. If not, it could be a bit awkward. Swamp and we probably, Beetle, Link Breaker. The Infestation Sage Gas combo can take this out the sky. So they had 1 Murmuring Mystic main deck and 1 in the sideboard of just kind of general list, sorry. They reveal a frantic inventory, sure. Pass. Swamp. Unfortunately not. Now what do we do? Just Mortician Beetle pass back. So their Brainstorm locked is very interesting. I guess they might have like a spell pit, thought. Yeah, something to clear the Brainstorm lock. Which is Counterspell Cryptic Serpent gone. They find their other land. Attack for 3. Another Delver. So Snuff Out's looking pretty bad, but we can pick out this Delver. And then what do we... Infestation Sage or Link Breaker? I think whatever we do, we're probably just turning this straight into essentially 4 counters. So I'll play this because I'd rather keep the Infestation Sage, based on the insect token potentially being more valuable. And if they're stumbling a bit, they can't currently play a terror type effects. Got 4 of their up to 7 cards they'd need. 4 of 6, sorry. 5 is a serpent, so they could like island cycle into serpent, but if they had an island cycler, they'd have played it. We like the look of that. So Infestation Sage, double sack. Nice. So we are up to 3-1 after 4 rounds. Hello, welcome back for round 5 is this now? We're on the play. We'll keep hands not great, but obviously if we draw some fodder, it could turn into a very aggressive hand, which we'd like to see. Got some draw into the rest of the deck. We can kind of afford to sacrifice a carrion feeder. Opponents move to 6. So I'm going to lead on a carrion feeder. Have their own Shambling Gust. So we can beetle carrion feeder. We still can't really attack. So if we I think we have to play our 2 spells. We're going to be Deadly Disputing away a Vault of Whispers next turn. If we sack a Carrion Feeder now, it becomes a 2-2, but we can't attack into their 1-1 still. So I'm going to hold off in case we draw something better. Alternatively, we could Deadly Dispute away a Carrion Feeder, but if we draw a 1-drop, we're kind of safe. That's annoying. Does mean we're likely to get it back at some point during the game, provided things don't go horribly. And they are tapped out, so no Deadly Dispute from them. Just really any creature, that's good. So we can attack with the gang. They take 3. See what they target. Yeah, they make a treasure. We'll play our land and pass. So how this game is going is kind of dependent on how much having to get a, play this untapped. That turn could set them back. So they know we've not got anything in hand, so they can just play a brute scale out. That feels good. So let's tap buff this feeder. They know about our Vol Whispers, don't they? From the Mesmeric Fiend. Yeah. So this is 6. I can make it 9. So I make it 8. And then kind of hoping that they go for it. I'm not going to play around with Tamio's safekeeping. They're currently short on green pips if they were to go for that. So now we have to go. So we have 7 power. They're going to have to throw away the Eldrazi spawn. Obviously, drawing the stuff out there was pretty nice. Doesn't really matter for them which they block. You can sacrifice once to make a flyer. So the flyer's going to be better at getting for damage this turn anyway. Don't think I want to sacrifice the other feeder. What's the difference if they're at 3? We have 3 lethal creatures. Yeah, I think I do want to sack. So go to 3. I've got 2 cards in hand. Did I sack the wrong way there? I should have put that 3rd counter on this so we had, but that's a misclick rather than, or kind of a mental mistake. See, very loose. So if they've got a Brood Scale and a Glee, they have their combo. They're missing the Glee part. This is where it's very unfortunate that we missed our counter. We can Reap in the Graves just for a creature so that we kind of undo that mistake. Then they have to block up everybody. So we'll just get Infestation Sage, doesn't really matter. Very bad that we missed our, we put the counter in the wrong place. So they can't have safekeeping here. They don't have the pips. Get back our dispute, and I think we've got there. So this looks like straight black-green on the Glee scale. See with the Mesmeric Fiend. Cool. Yeah, very bad to mess up putting the counter on the wrong thing. We got bailed out by drawing away to make a creature. Otherwise we'd have had to chump attack here. Perhaps those ways they can survive, but I think they're pretty low on them. Yeah. So sideboarding, I want Mesmeric Fiends and Snuffouts. I don't want Unexpected Fangs, and I think I'm going to do a 2-2 split of Link Breakers and Freebooters. That's my sideboard. Yeah, I'm happy with how that looks. I'm actually when I was kind of first playing this deck, I was really high on the Freebooter Shambling Gas stuff. I've since cooled off on it a bit, and now I'm valuing the double, like before I was playing Footlight Fiend and so on, Fear of Lost Teeth to ping down creatures. But just the value you get from being able to double sack a Link Breaker for just a huge clock. The fact you've got 8 of those effects gives you a lot more aggressive beatdown starts. Whereas again, the Freebooter, when you bottom a land, it feels so good. I've talked myself into cutting all of the Freebooters and keeping the Link Breakers. Have I? No, I've not. Basically, then if I'm just going to mash and go all in, then do I do that? I'll give it a go for a game. Why not? Only other consideration is, do you want any rotten reunions? I don't think we do. It's just that they've got that evolution witness or something, but we've got Snuff Out for that. We've still got the Shambling Ghast. But yeah, drawing the Snuff Out, that well, I guess it looked like they never actually had a what's it called? Sadistic Glee in that game, but the Snuff Out to kill the Basking Brood scale made it feel so much better. Now we have more Snuff Outs for their brood scales and a couple of really nice hand. So I'm gonna again, I must have said before, but the first Mesmeric Fiend's pretty good. The second one really gets them. They've got an answer to their Mesmeric Fiend if they play it and don't have a sacrifice spell straight away. Got a Swamp for our Snuff Outs. So I'm going to lead on Carrion Feeder. If given the chance, I could see Mesmeric Fiending on turn 2, but I'd probably be more likely to play out Beetle Ghast. Duress gets the Reap in the Graves. So I think we just Beetle and Shambling Ghast. This is going to give us the best clock by having the Beetle in play already. The Shambling Ghast can make either make a treasure less important now the Reap in the Graves is gone, but can also just pick off a random 1/1. So if we need to, we can Deadly Dispute. We can sack this for a treasure to get a Deadly Dispute going. So I think we can just lead on Mesmeric Fiend. Obviously, we're going to play the Mesmeric Fiend. The important thing is, or what I was kind of weighing up was whether I wanted to do that and always sack the Mesmeric Fiend here. But if they don't have a Glee, having the extra count on the Carrion Feeder could be good. So what do we want to take here? If we take the safekeeping, they aren't protected. They can't get into combat with us. If we take the Wellspring, they can't really dig very well in for more cards. I think I'm going to take the Wellspring. They're so tied up on mana. I think realistically I want to sack this for the extra point of damage. No, I don't know. I think it's no. I've changed my mind. It's better to be able to pick off a Shambling Ghast so that it can't block. So they play a Shambling Ghast and pass with a green mana up. That's very nice. Or is it? Do we want to play that this turn? I don't think we do. So happy to sack the Shambling Ghast and kill their Shambling Ghast without Deadly Dispute. Do we want to just sack a Vault? I think we can sack a Vault. I think we've got plenty of mana. Seeing as this is going to make us a treasure token anyway. It does stop us from growing. So it stops any of our creatures getting counters like they would if we sacked the Shambling Ghast. But so Village Rites. Now I probably will write down their Shambling Ghast. I'm aware that they can save keeping just to win combat, which is a bit annoying. You know, it's obviously a low end use of their card, but it's not nothing. We drew another land so that we're. That was. I kind of forgot about the treasure token being so good when they're caught up on pips. So we hit a Snuff Out. I think I'm going to find it very hard not to Mesmeric Fiend, take the safekeeping. This just puts so much pressure in play. Eviscerated Insight is like bang on the type of card I wanted to be able to take away here, but if I just take the safekeeping, mash for 7, they go down to 8. What, they play a Shambling Ghast, they can block sack. They draw and play a Glee. Like if they draw a Glee, they can't hold up the safekeeping now anyway, but again with the treasures they're going to unpick that quite quickly. It does mean that they can Eviscerated Insight their Brood Scale, which I would like to avoid. They're not going to block. Yeah. This is a Shambling Ghast backed up by, or followed by a Eviscerated Insight. Fantastic draw again. You know, this is where again, although we get these hands that we just dump, you know, we get hands where we just dump our entire hand onto play. This kind of interactive draw to pick up some value along the way is where I think the deck really, really shines. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if they Eviscerated Insight, we can kill them. We don't want to do this before they Insight, because otherwise they just give this -1/-1 and stay alive. So I guess no. So we know the last card is we know the last card now is a Nightblade. Again, if we go all in and they just have a another safekeeping off of their treasure, that feels so bad. So let's not just jam all in. We can get in for some good more damage. Put them to 3. RUCetFort U adapt, but then we just kill them through they don't have mana to put the Nightblade in play, and we get there. So yeah, we to be fair, we drew really well this round. Not gonna kind of muddle around with that. My matchup against RUCetFort has been pretty good previously. Like my results are pretty good, so another one, another W, another one for the books. Hello, we are back on the play again. I mean, there's certainly matchups where Snuff Out's good and matchups where it's bad. Do I want to go to 6, or is this good enough to keep? It's definitely a loose keep. I think I will. It's got enough. It's got enough going where at least there's cards that it's working to the plan. There's cards that we can draw that will improve the improve our hand. It obviously all comes down to whether Snuff Out's going to be any good here, and obviously we would rather not see a 1/2. A 1/2 would be quite tough. But if we draw Village Rites or something like that, we're kind of up and running. So I think I'm going to lead on the Shambling Ghast. Yeah, I think this is right on the bottom end of what I would think of keeping. Carrion Feeder makes it a lot better. So let's play the Carrion Feeder. Now am I happy to attack? Again, Intruder's kind of the thing that's on my radar as a potential card to play spoiler here. Having the Shambling Ghast around protects me against Spellstutter Sprite, but we've got 2 Snuff Outs for that anyway. And they might just not have a, there might just not be fairies and have Intruder. Let's play an Infestation Sage, because if they are fairies, I'd like this to resolve. Maybe that doesn't make sense anyway. And then we'll put them to the Intruder check, see if we are intruded upon. We are, so we just put a capture on our Carrion Feeder instead, and we make a treasure. I think I'd rather save the Snuff Outs for something a bit better. We could just snuff this out. We've got 2. I don't really want to block a ninja. Yeah, I'm down. If they keep it around and have a ninja, that's really bad for me. Keeping this around so it can stop a spell stutter from getting us is alternatively really good for me. I guess the kind of the train of thought is if they're on terror, we can attack for 1 for free. If they're on fairies, then our random 1/1 like creatures are more valuable than they would be against terror. We can just attack into the next one as well. If they have another, then we can look at sacrificing our creatures, but this keeps them off of doing a turn 2 ninja thing. The Shambling Gas keeps them honest with spell stutters, or fairy miscreants for that matter. So they can't have 2 of them. See what we draw. So we draw Reaping the Graves, which is going to be castable with the treasure from the Shambling Ghast if we make one. Probably more likely going to be using the Shambling Ghast to kill a creature. So let's play the Link Breaker, and now I think we're just attacking with the gang again. The second Snuff Out is less likely to just be thrown at, anything that's blocking. So I think I just take the treasure. Do I want to flip the Link Breaker? Probably could have done. Yeah, I think I just missed a point here. It's a bit better to play around Snap by not having sacrificed the creature, but we're going to put a capture on this at some point anyway, aren't we? We're hardly going to get around doing that. So yeah, the fairies games are very, let's say, very intricate. And very quickly get dragged down into the very nitty gritty. What do you do with your 1/1s? Which can be very fun as long as they're not. If they just do the fairy thing and run well out ahead of you, that's less fun. So attacking with the team. No blocks. No blocks is fine. Just play a swamp and pass back. If they play, they don't have to play very many creatures before I'm basically sacking these 2 just so I can Reaping the Graves and keep having something to do. I could have sacked this to block, but maybe I should have done. I'm kind of more thinking that this stops Sprite from coming back. So I've got the coast clear to resolve a thing. Shambling Ghast is a good thing to resolve. Feeling pretty nice about this game now. So they have another intruder. I don't mind sacrificing whatever they intrude upon now. Storm count is 2. So if we lose the treasure, we can just get back these two and the Ghast. I think I'm happy to just take this out. Am I? Then I think I'm going to hold the reaping and look to reap. You know, I'm not worried about them counterspelling, and we can imagine them playing more than 2 spells a turn in their turn relatively easily. Shambling Ghast is threatening to block the ninja. Okay. Is this our snuff out? So we snuff out, they counter, we sack, and then basically we pick up all of our creatures. And they're tapped out, so we get to play them all again. I'm kind of down. Would have been nice if they were tapped out for this, but that's fine. So we sack this for a treasure. One, two, three, four. Just check we've got one on everything. So Sage, Breaker, Ghast, Ghast. No point sacrificing our insect token. Nice. Yeah, so I think I messed up letting this hit me the first time. I feel like I should have just made an insect token to just block this, but as I say, I'm kind of in a lot more trouble if they get a spell setter going and able to attack. So we kind of did what we were intending. Postboard, I've got some more snuff outs. There's not a lot else going for us. I don't really like Mesmeric Fiend in this matchup. Curse Marauder can just get rinsed by Snap. So I think I'm going to cut 2 freebooters for 2 more snuff outs. I'm going to keep the Fangs in just because although they get beaten up on by Snap, I like having some life gain available. It's tough. Like Snuff Out's really good, but 2 of them really adds up. The first one's great, and I'm not too worried about the first 4 life. And then these are, you know, how do you rate a Fangs versus a freebooter? You don't. You hedge out and don't make a decision. So let's run this back. Yeah, and then the hand that we kept, Blue Fairy, is kind of the best matchup for it, where it's just a load of things, and we're just going to play an attrition game, rely on Reaping the Graves to push through. You know, trade off resource and then Reaping the Graves to pull through. So they're on the kind of low end of their draws. So we have a Shambling Ghast. Ninja would be unfortunate. This is the fairies we all know and love. Unfairies. I've coined that one myself just now. So Linkbreaker can threaten to really nice draw. Linkbreaker can threaten to just stare at this, and I think we'll just village right straight away. Drawing 2 cards is better than worth changing this down to a token. Do we attack? Not worried about them blocking. The downside to this is if they intrude our mercenary, or they could snap or intrude the mercenary, but yeah. Yeah, under this I would have wished I'd kept this back, but I guess the point is 1 damage isn't really going to make that much of a difference for us. So that's a mistake. Should have stayed home. So very hard to resolve anything through a spell stutter here. So I think we're going to try and do a Deadly Dispute in their turn. Do we want to try and pick up this ninja? Pick off this ninja? I think so. See if they have another ninjutsu, this doesn't work. But I think the getting them to do another fairy thing is, yes, they counter the draw, but we still get to kill our guy and prevent them drawing a card. And now we get to play an Infiltrator and Deadly Dispute away a vault. So our guy's going to be pretty big. Our treasure tokens. Yeah, I really, really shouldn't have attacked with that Shambling Gas. That was so loose. Just taking an extra 2 damage for... I was happy with Village Writing away the thing, although the token was easier to snap than the actual Link Breaker. The attack I took 2 damage for free, and 2 damage, really adds up for the blue deck. It's all about chipping in. Again, this is where the snuff outs really do add up as well and get painful. So we can play the Vault, so we're holding up 4 mana. If we attack, they have an intruder. They can threaten to kill our guy. We could snuff out. It's resistant to snuff out 4 mana. It's resistant to spell stutter, but not to a counter spell. Then if we had a way to sacrifice a creature, it'd be risky for them to block. So we get in for 4, which is quite nice. Then I think we're basically going to be snuff outing in their turn again. Try and stop them having any useful way, any way of using their mana. I guess it stopped them from being able to play a ninja. So we play a spell stutter and then ninja it back. With so many of their cards being 1 mana, I'm less able to leverage playing things at instant speed for that reason. So we'll block here. You're not an intruder. I think I just let this go. Do I want to just snuff out something? Snuff Out getting any better? Guess I'm thinking that I can kill a spell stutter, even though that's kind of unfortunate. We have to keep attacking here. We're not gonna, you know, I don't think we're gonna win by staying home and getting chipped out in the air. And then I think we are now going to snuff out kind of regardless of what they do. I don't want to just play the freebooter into a spell stutter, at least not without a Reaping the Graves as a response, or not response, but a kind of consequence for them. Have another intruder. I think I'm just going to kill a miscreant. Although I should have done this before, shouldn't I? Because now they can ninja it back. I don't think they had this last turn. They didn't have a ninja last turn, or I'm sure they would have used it. And this is again the kind of itsy bitsy game where having one turn of like an unexpected fangs will make a big difference. This is starting to get out of reach. If we attack, we take 2, 3, 4, 5, go down to 3. I really don't want to play a freebooter and like if I play a freebooter and they just sprite it, and all I get out of it is that they leave this at home. They leave this at home and still attack. Oh, sorry, if they just attack him with everybody, I take 3. Kind of live with taking 3, I think. At least I can live with that a lot better than I can live with spell stutter sprite getting to do its thing and add to the clock. And obviously a 1/1 gets counted even if I kill the sprite in this situation. Again, really missing that 2 damage, well the loot as well, but the 2 damage from attacking with the ghast, you know, really adding up, or, you know, really contributing. Obviously snaps on the radar for things they can have, we've only seen 1. They only attack for, yeah. I was gonna say if they only attacked for 1, I would be pretty happy. So they pick up a Moon Circuit Hacker. No, so they pick up the Wrestler. Okay. Can I snuff out this? Don't think I can afford not to. Again, expect this gets countered. But it gets counterspelled and not spell stutter sprited is the important thing. Pay for Spell Pierce. Can't beat another ninja, but that would be true even if it wasn't ninjutsuing this. If it was just one of these got flipped, that would also be very rough. Okay. So they have an intruder, we have a freebooter, a carrion feeder. The feeder can't block. I think this has just gone away from us. If we don't do anything, we take 3. We're dead to a ninja, or like a second intruder. And the only thing that holding out is good for is if we draw a if we block, take 3 from the intruder, draw a Reap in the Graves, we would be able to get back a Ghast and then some ground blockers. Going to 1 with like only being able to deal with 1 fairy does not seem good enough. Play this first. I'd rather they counter this. Obviously a sprite is pretty close to backbreaking anyway. Then at least we can play the freebooters to threaten to block another creature. No, I don't think it matters. I think we're just dead. So we're threatening to block here. We'd go down to 1, and we no longer have the spells in hand to kind of start a storm chain with Reaping the Graves. Oh, they tap this anyway. So on to game 3. Yeah, that them being 1 higher life wouldn't have mattered. The Shambling Ghast attack was too weak. Let's run it back. Do we want another Fangs? I don't think so. I think it's so tepid. That's what I use, it's tepid. Gonna be happy to be on the play. Gets us out of some of the like most egregious unfairies things. Nice hand. So I think I'm going to lead on the Link Breaker, even though the Shambling Ghast is the most kind of important one to resolve. Might mean that they're more likely to play a turn 1 fairy that we can just snap up. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to kill this. Get our draw 2. Might as well attack first, they might block. You never know. Do we want to draw 2 or deploy a feeder? I mean, it's just always draw 2, isn't it? We've got enough lands that we can play Reaping the Graves. So having a creature countered doesn't bother us too badly. This is shaping up quite well. So the Snuff Out means we can just jam into a Spell Stutter. Probably wish I'd actually played the Mortician Beetle so that we could Deadly Dispute, but I guess again, it's nice to have some things we can play at instant speed. So we've got one creature in the graveyard now. What do we do? It'd be lovely to play the beetle before combat, but that runs into spell setter sprite shaped problems. If we attack first, the first intruder's not that bad. The second one is a problem. It's the first one we just sack. We don't bother, trying to kill the intruder this turn. The second one is a problem. The third one would be pretty rough. The third one makes the combat maths very tricky. Okay. Well, there's a storm count. So let's just let them declare blocks. So they don't actually kill anything here. It's a shame that we can't use our Deadly Dispute this turn. Like a mutagenic growth is horrible for us. Then I guess we just Deadly Dispute whatever creature they growth to try and kill. So play Mortician Beetle. Are we playing Mortician Beetle or are we just gonna do a sad Reaping the Graves to get back 2/1/1s? I think we're playing Mortician Beetle and Deadly Disputing it. Deadly Disputing away the Beetle or the like a feeder or something. Because having a 2/2 so that we can threaten to kill one of these so they can't attack Flip a Ninja freely is really nice. I'm down to sack a Carrion Feeder. Bad against Echoing Truth. So I didn't actually need to sack this. Oh no, I did because I was going to sack. Yeah, no, I did need to do it in this order because I needed to resolve the Mortician Beetle first. Draw 2. Might as well play the Vault. So yeah, we're back on this kind of try and run them low on resources, and then we're going to resolve a Reaping the Graves to pull out ahead. So let's just block one of them. Doesn't really matter which, I don't think. We'll block the human. We should have blocked the non-human. That's really funny. So yeah, they've used 2 mana to do this. They leave up 2 mana. How do we attack? If we just attack for 6, or do we just attack for 4? We just attack for 2. Oh, there's so many options. So I don't think I can play around another intruder. It's unlikely they have another sprite, Snare Master sprite. I kind of want them to play some spells. I also want to progress to getting them dead. I think 4 is a big enough chunk. It means we can't really block the hacker. Yeah, I think. Okay, how have I taught myself into no attacks? This is basically saying that, you know, you're not going in for damage here, you have to play a sprite, and then I can Reaping the Graves in response to the sprite. Yeah. Weird spot. But we've got 2 Reaping the Graves. If this game goes on, I think it's going to be very hard for them to win. Snap is probably the worst thing for us that they could have. But Snap, we probably Village Rites in response to stop them untapping mana. If they counter, we get to do our Reaping for 3. And by not attacking, their Snap's still not fantastic for them. Happy to see them have another land. Don't think they're attacking. So they are attacking. So we want to kill non-humans because of One Mind. Ever so slightly better. Ninjutsu is an activated ability, not a cast, right? Yeah. They save a guy though, that is a cast. We take 2, you draw a card. You have a spell, we reap. You do. So we can even Village Rites then reap. So we want this to resolve, because we'd rather they take 4 damage rather than not. Village Rites this down. Yes, we want to counter. So the pass priority back, we're going to get to draw 2 cards. Now we get to Reaping the Graves. Restock our hand. So are we basically able to play out everything? Yeah. We can just jam everything. I don't. Oh, did we have an angle where we could have pumped this beetle enough? No, we wouldn't have been able to play the reap. So beetle, ghast, feeder, get our counter, link breaker. So we can attack for 3. So opponent has scooped to our attack. Reaping the Graves was fantastic. I don't know if maybe they had a Dispel as their last card. I'm drawing a bunch now. Yeah, good result. Shame about game 2, but when they don't have, they only had 1 flyer, and then we got to snuff out this. Like a load of ground creatures were really good at coming up the ground. So we get there. Welcome back for what's this, round 7? Good hand. We'll keep. See what the opponent is doing. So this looks like Brood Scale. So we can't really play our Carrion Feeder out into this. So let's just play an Infestation Sage. If they do pick off this, then at least the flyer can chip him for some damage, whereas the Link Breaker really can't. I was a bit worried that was just a Brood Scale then. Infiltrator's a nice draw. Active player, non-active player. So our creature would go on the stack first. I think I'm happy to just attack. If I get this out of the way, it means we can play a Infiltrator or something a lot more safely. Oh yeah, so they, although their thing would resolve first, our creature is not in play for them to target. So let's play the Infiltrator, pass back. So we're now at the point of this is hopefully going to be a pretty meaningful clock. That's pretty rough. There's a deadly dispute coming. If there's not a dispute coming, we're actually safe because we can play the feeder. We'd had our only dispute back up if we needed it. So as is, I think we're just vomiting stuff into play. Is there any value in deadly? No. So I need to sack something to the feeder. I don't think there's any value in doing a deadly dispute early. So let's play out everything so that we have as much of a clock as possible. We can attack. If the plant token just chumps, that's kind of fine. So we'll sack the link breaker first to give ourselves our counters. Make another treasure. So hoping they don't have the combo. They do now have mana for it. We don't have any interaction. Instead it's a Chrysalis. Chrysalis is more okay. We outscale this Chrysalis. And a Refractor so that if they do, start going off, they have infinite coloured mana as well. Am I interested in sacking the Infestation Sage now? I think I am. No, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, if they want to block a flying creature, they can block here. More likely to deadly dispute away a thing anyway. So if we pump the feeder, I don't think we're at the point where we're just picking off a random token. Are we deadly disputing this down? I guess we take this. I want to see some more cards, just to know what the options are. This doesn't interrupt our ability to outgrow this. And with 2 gas, we're a bit more resistant to a Brood Scale. So that's worked out quite nice. So we'll sack this to make this a 5-4. We'd have to sack this as well. There's no way that we're using the Shambling Gas to save our Carrion Feeder. Yeah, 4, 5, 2, 5. So we'll hold that back so they don't have the information. So it's a pretty thin layer of interaction having Shambling Gas for a Brood Scale, but it's better than nothing, and if that fails we can at least pick off the spawn tokens. So, is there a world we want to do any of this now? I'm thinking then, they use the mana for a, what's it called? Safekeeping on this. Don't think so. If we go for them now and they dispute or something, they'd have to discard to hand size. Does that matter? Again, I don't think that's too important. So a beetle is great in that it's just another big creature. So I think we're just playing these two, attacking with Infiltrator, Feeder, Sage. We could force this to block, right? But green, black, green 1, black, green 1 to adapt. I'm currently not forced to adapt because I've got these. I think I'm just going to kill the spawn tokens and make them have to have it this turn. By playing the beetle first, the beetle is going to get counters if they do sack these for mana. So I've seen 16 cards. Hopefully that is kind of a quick enough clock. It feels like they might have, something. Don't see a reason not to push in for more damage here. Yeah. Not too surprised that they had that. We'll leave back some creatures so that they, an infinite power Chrysalis doesn't necessarily do the job. Put them down to 9. And then we're hoping that we have 3 lethal attackers, and that they can't clear the way. So that is the ground gummed up. Or at least it is for now. So I don't see a reason to hold back the Infiltrator. If we play this, they can't really cast it down. It's just another creature that's going to, grow really reasonably quickly. Then we attack for 2. Yeah, we're going to sack 1, but we'll still have a blocker back for this. So we are nudging ever closer. Again, I've now seen 22 cards to try and assemble their. Well, I guess they need a 3-card combo now because they need to have a infinite power brood scale kill. Love to see a rumble. In that it means they don't have it. The rumble looks like okay, so it's taken a mutations. So if they already had the combo, that's the way to win this turn. Otherwise, we are just, these are our guys. They're going to carry on turning sideways. So that's 2 blockers. Evo Witness, they can trigger. That would cost them their spawn. So I think we're fine. We might struggle to get this up to 9 power. Again, we're just playing everything. We're attacking with everybody. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then if they have a if they've got another safekeeping, just gain 2 life is good enough. And then we're throwing away our board completely for the privilege. They witness what and get back a Chrysalis. There's not a side of the combo in it. They get back a Wellspring. Chrysalis gums up the ground pretty effectively again. I don't think I'm going all in. I guess we don't have to, right? We only need to sack one of our extra creatures. This is 6. If we sack, which one's worse? I think the Infiltrator's worse because the beetle grows to their spawn sacking. So you need a safekeeping. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, they didn't get there on their combo. That's where we ran well, but sideboarding plan, add Mesomeric Fiend, add Snuff Out. We'll cut, what was it, 2 Link Breakers and 2 Freebooters, and the Unexpected Fangs. We can't keep this. We can definitely keep this. We can put back probably the vault, one of the vaults. But yeah, we've got a bit of a clock, got a few draw spells. Or the start of a clock. I mean, it's not a clock on its own, but Turn 1 Vault. I think we're going to play the Sage. Kingdom for a Gorilla Shaman. So if we Feeder and Link Breaker now. It's kind of funny because the Feeder's not going to grow at all when we do our other, when we do our village rights thing, but wow, did they miss a land? Oh boy. That's big. So if we sack this now, that's an extra point of damage. So an extra 2 points. Yeah, an extra point of damage. 2 if we use it to pump and then sack it. So I use the mercenary to pump and then we can sacrifice that. So I really want to use some of these village rights type effects. So let's pump here. Draw 2. A bit tough, kind of between a few different things. Obviously not as tough as missing that land drop. So discard a Drowning Sorrow, that's quite funny. Does that imply they have a second? If they had a second Drowning Sorrow, I'd rather play the Infestation Sage than the Feeder. If we play the Feeder and they have another Drown, what we sack, we basically have to go all in on this Feeder, which I don't really want to do. Then we just end up getting, that's how we end up getting chumped by random Shambling Gas and things. So find their land now, but hopefully we can, punish them for that one turn they slipped up. And is pretty redundant. Let's see what they take. They take one of the 2 disputes. Sounds like a good idea. We draw Mortician Beetle. So what we Mortician Beetle village rights. So let's attack first. Well, we're just playing another Feeder. Again, we're putting a reasonable clock into play. We are not protected against a combo, which they can play. Which they do play. So now we're hoping they don't have a what's the guy called? Nightblade. I should have sacrificed some creatures before letting them do all this. Yep, that'll do. Because then we can grow our creatures a bit and they don't get more spawns. So yeah, I mean, we got a bit lucky. They missed the land drop, but we didn't draw our interaction. That's kind of how it goes. I don't think we want to change anything on how we're sideboarded. So let's just run it back. We are on the play. This is a rough one. It's kind of the start of a clock, but if we draw Mesmeric Fiend, I'm happy. If not, it's got a, if it just draws a couple of air spells or draw spells, it doesn't really do anything. I think this has to be a mulligan. Unfortunately, so does this, right? Okay. So keep, put back. Can we keep the Deadly Dispute actually? So 2, 3, 4. I mean, we can make this a 5/5 on turn 2. If we put back these two. Or 4/4 if we put back like the Shambling Ghast and keep the Freebooter. Definitely putting back the Dispute. Can I put back the Snuff Out? Or the Ghast. The Ghast is pretty tempting because it just picks off a random guy. Freebooter is pretty tempting because it scries the Link Breakers, kind of, how we're turning this into a real clock. I guess if we scry off of the Freebooter, yeah, I think I put back this because it can't quite be a 5 power on turn 4 if we don't draw another land, right? Because we need to, so it's 4 power on turn 2, and we scry. Good luck, us. Yeah, see, thinking back to hand 1, it's kind of right in between. Obviously, if we drew the right card, in a link breaker or something, I think is only Reaping the Graves in about one of them isn't really going to be good enough anyway. So I did think I was thinking about there being on duress, so we could have not. Yeah, I was thinking about if they have duress, then we could bottom the Shambling Ghast so that we're kind of insulated to it. But do we need to keep this because we have 2 drops? I think we do. Kind of doesn't stick to the plan, which is, we're completely all in on this guy. But they sack their own land. That's a shame. Shambling Ghast is a great draw. Have to turn off auto use here. If they dress us, we're obviously just snuff outing this. They rumble. So they find Chrysalis and Brood Scale, for example. They take the Brood Scale. So this is the downside of, their deck is very good at making, blockers for non-trample creatures. not abundantly clear whether they prevent 4 damage here or try and prevent the damage later. They do try and prevent it later. Ideally, they brood scale Glee it and then try and sack the spore. Yeah, well, try and brood scale and just slam the Glee on it. They only know about one card, but they know we kept. Yeah, and they know we kept the Vault on top. So we can attack before and play the Infiltrator. Do we have to snuff out this now so they can't safekeeping? I feel like we do. Yeah. It looked like they were thinking about do they duress last turn. Not thrilled with another brood scale. So we can attack for 6. Feel like we're about to get brood scaled. If we leave this back to block, what does that mean? Basically, once they put a Glee on this, we can't kill that we can't remove that blocker. We'd have to kill this. Yep. Hold. I think they had the Glee, the turn that they were thinking about dressing and only played one. We'll keep the swamp in hand for whatever small value that might be. That's the Glee. And that's GG. So I think we're kind of fortunate to win game 1. Game 2 we definitely had a shot at points, and then game 3 moved to 5. That's quite tough. Let's see you in the next. Hello, and we are back for the final round. Fortunately, we can't keep this. I don't love it. I'm going to keep it off the back of the village rights. We can put back the fangs. I don't want to move to 5. I'm guessing this is another Glee. So if we're going to rights anyway, I'd rather right to a freebooter. Get the scry, another shot at land. Getting for our 1 damage. Sack this. Really want to see a land in these top 3. So we don't find one. What do we want to do now? I don't think we play out any of these. I think we're just, I think we try and play the Infiltrator next turn and hope that we get there. Get there on a land. So a Nightblade is quite funny. So we do get there on our land, which is quite nice. So we can play the Infiltrator, and then what? Play a Shambling Ghast. Playing the Ghast preferentially, representing killing this. They have their own Ghast. Ghast. So I don't really want to expose the Beetle to their Ghast. So let's play some Infestation Sages. And pass back. Not going to attack into their Ghast either. Very glad to see they didn't Deadly Dispute or something there. They do rumble. What, hit another Nightblade? It's neither piece of the combo. It's going to add up though. I'm going to make a lot of tokens leave the battlefield. And annoyingly, obviously, we can't kill them. Unexpected Fangs. So what happens if we attack? If they just block here, we can Fangs and stay alive. If they double block here, we can kill a Nightblade. I think this is very, very likely to just be they're going to block with just the Ghast. So obviously, I've had better turns, but this means that we can keep attacking in through the Nightblades and so on. So 2 Nightblade triggers. Another Ghast. Really want to find a sack outlet so that we can play out the Beetle. And the other thing it would let us do would be, guarantee we can attack into these. If we attack again and they block these two this time, we kill both, get to play our Beetle onto an open, get to play our Beetle out and not risk being gasted. Do we want to attack with our own gas to make a treasure? That doesn't sound good enough. Not a huge fan of letting them do this. Okay, that's fine. Huge fan of just being able to pick through their stuff. Would not be a huge fan of letting them kill this cheaply. But as we said, this lets us play out our Beetle. Beetle is going to grow off of the Eldrazi spawn token. We are now wide. So they have the Brood Scout. That's a really nice draw. So what do we want to sacrifice? Is it just the Ghast to kill one of the these, or do we want to make a flyer? I think chipping down their number of creatures in play is better. Let's try and kill the Eldrazi spawn token. Always yes, always yield, always yield. They sack it, so we get another counter on our Beetle. This becomes 5 power. That doesn't matter. Draw 2. Not the best draws. So do we want to attack with the beetle as well as the infiltrator? I think so. I think we just snuff out here, right? They don't have green mana up. They could dispute into it, I guess, but I don't think it's worth attacking with our like 1/1s. So they played this. Oh, they must have a Chrysalis. Sure. Fantastic. Right, this suddenly got a lot more serious. Now we can attack with everybody. That extra turn delay on the Chrysalis might really come back to bite them. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say, if you didn't block the if you didn't block any of the big guys, you're gonna feel that. This is 7. I don't think we need to sack the link breakers now. So I'm reading this as Chrysalis. Obviously the Chrysalis is another... What? Oh, I guess they just didn't have any more red mana to cycle. So they know the path is clear. And this looks like Broodskell and Glee. Yeah, so maybe we were turned too soon to Glee, to, you know, a bit hasty on killing the Broodskell. Like, we could have held up the snuff out until they tried to Glee it, but... So, again, cut a freebooter and a link breaker for our snuff out to Mesmeric Fiends. Let's run this back. Yeah, we didn't see them, you know, they went down to 1 card, we didn't see them have any safekeeping, so... I don't know, the list always plays some, I don't feel too bad about how I played it. So let's start on Infestation Sage. That's really nice. That opens the door for the Mesmeric Fiend. So we'll just play out our stuff. You know, it doesn't realistically change for what they'll do with their plant token. I mean, they could just play Broodskell. Choose not to. We get our first Fiend. So, double Broodskell, Nightblade, double Safekeeping. Feels like we're going to have a hard time getting through all these safekeepings. We take the brood scale. We've again got this weird situation if they, depending on what they do, we could double sack Shambling Ghast to take out a brood. See, it doesn't look like they're allowing us to do that. Do I want to sack this for an extra counter? I think I wish I'd done this last turn. I've just essentially missed a point of damage by holding off on it. No reason to do that in the end step though, is there? So we can attack for 5. They do block now. Inside that away. So let's village right, sack the insect. I think I might Mortician Beetle. So green black, safekeeping. Yeah, so I think we just Beetle. So we have the brood scale, but I think we very inefficiently gun this down with Shambling Ghasts. So if they block here, we can sack 1, target this. Yeah. And I think the landscape is gone, right? No. So they're kind of giving up on the brood scale. I mean, I definitely just kill this. It's one of the safekeepings dealt with. So keep the gust around because it can kill a 1/1. It is tempting to sack it so that we can Deadly Dispute. Sack the Vault of Whispers to draw 2. Yeah, okay. Now we need to keep it around to kill the spawn token, which should force this to, force them to use their Tamiyo's safekeeping. And then after safekeeping, is there a Reaping the Graves angle? What this looks like it's going to come down to is if they adapt, we try to kill the 1/1. Yeah, but they adapt, we try and kill the 1/1. So they safekeeping it instead. We sack this for a treasure, and then Reaping the Graves our Mesmeric Fiend. Or do we just get 2 more gas? No, because we get 2 gas, then they adapt in their upkeep. Is what I'm reading the situation to be. So they just block. Okay. Sure, so this is basically the same, but they could have... Yeah, well, yeah, so this is basically the same, isn't it? So they take 4. We Reaping the Graves, get back Mesmeric Fiend, Shambling Ghast. Sack this for a treasure. Play a Mesmeric Fiend. In response to the trigger, sack the Mesmeric Fiend. Now what? I feel like we're just taking the Deadly Dispute. We can't play around them top decking the yeah, I don't think we can afford to play around them top decking the stupid Glee. If we take the Nightblade, does that matter at all? I don't think so. Drown is dead. I think we're taking the Dispute, right? Hold. So they draw a Shambling Ghast, which they can Eviscerate his Insight, make a treasure, but that's not going to be good enough. Our Shambling Ghast means that their Adapt isn't going to be good enough. So we play Shambling Ghast, we dispute away our Vault to try and draw another creature so that our Mortician Beetle is lethal. Which we do, and a Snuff Out. Nice. So we have to let them adapt, and then we kill the Scion. Or we just... No, sorry, we can just snuff out this, can't we? Yeah, why overcomplicate things? Nice. So we're on the draw. Let's hope we get there again. Do I want link breakers over freebooters? I think I do like the freebooter. Let's give it a go. Opponent's kept 7. I don't think we can keep this 6. Turn 1 feeder, turn. Yeah. If I put back a dispute, again we have to get there on a second land on a village rights and some creatures to sacrifice. I'm not going to mull to 5, but I don't much like this hand. Obviously we draw a land or a creature to sacrifice. Turn 1 we are, doing much better. I don't think we can afford to play the beetle. It'd be great if we played it and drew a land, but if we don't, we need to do the Ghast. They have a Wellspring. Let's get in for our point of damage first. This feels like a big draw. It's not all bad. So I think we're on. If we don't play anything next turn, if we draw a land, we can fiend and sack that. All we're missing by holding off is a point of damage from the freebooter. Let's hope that we can get there this time. With a scry. Put that on top. Can we play the Mortician Beetle here? Can we not? Can we afford not doing it? See, it's very rough. No, so even if they have a Shambling Ghast, we should get the counter before they can kill it. Oh, didn't know these decks tended to play Candy Trail. Nice. So I think we're just Mesmeric Fiending them. Always yes, always yield. Some decent draws. So do we take the Brood Scale or do we take the Safekeeping? With 2 Snuff Outs, I think we can just take the Safekeeping, right? It's kind of letting them know what we've got going on, which I don't tend to like doing, but they've used 1 Duress already. We play out the Nightblade. Would have loved to hit a swamp there so that we could do these two and the sage. Not really much value in attacking because they're going to dispute anyway. So I think we're just beetle, carrion, feeder. Nice that they don't, if they're going to sack this anyway, nice that they didn't, they let us resolve the beetle first. That's an extra counter. I mean, we might as well attack. It's just going to bounce off their 1-3. So we get our 2 counters. We take damage. Always yes. And then they played their swamp. That's their county garden. That's nice. So yeah, we're just keep slamming. It's getting in for quite a lot of damage now. %, sacking the infestation sage and the flyer. So they sack, we get an extra counter on our beetles. I mean, we're kind of relying on, we're relying on the 2 snuff outs, but 2 pieces of interaction is more than none. They do see a lot of cards, but we have a, equally we've got a big board presence. Oh, Weather the Storm, nice. I don't like when mid-range decks bring this in against me. For Glee, I think it's more defendable. You can have a Brood Scale. I'm going to respond when you try and Glee it. I think you can even have the Spawn token. I'm generous like that. So, Swamp Feeder. So I very incentivized to dispute away the feeder just to draw 2. If I do it now, we get in for some more damage. It's an extra 2 points damage. So I'm looking at 2 snuff outs versus the world. So they've drawn a whole bunch of cards, so they might well have, the combo, the Glee and some protection. Nice to see that they're spending mana on things that don't instantly kill me. They can have a Shambling Gust. I'd love to draw like a Mesmeric Fiend, I guess. So we draw a Reaping that can get back a Mesmeric Fiend, amongst other things. If we play out stuff before combat, it makes their Weather the Storms better. If we just attack, we can see how that goes. There's a potential for them to kill our Carrion Feeder here, but obviously we have a backup in hand. If they go down to 7, do we play our Infiltrator or hold up our Reaping the Graves? I think we hold up our Reaping the Graves, right? If we play out, we could play Freebooter and play Carrion Feeder and Infiltrator, and it gives us a potential for another lethal attacker. It also gives them the potential to weather the storm. Puts us further away from getting back the Mesmeric Fiend. I guess that they're not, the turn that we would Reaping the Graves for the Mesmeric Fiend, essentially the turn that we want to win anyway. A storm count of, I guess we add 2 to the storm count. It depends on how many draw 2 effects they play now. Looks like it might just be the one. Unknown. No weathers. So what combination of duresses and safekeeping do you have you put together? Please not to. Hopefully we've not put ourselves dead to the stupid Nightblades. They deadly dispute away the thing. I was worried they were going to do the treasure into their other safekeeping as an option. I think they played a land, right? Weather for a million. Okay. They're at 35. So we can Reaping the Graves back 1 creature. They block here, take 9, 12, 20, 21. So we get back our Infestation Sage. Get ourselves a counter. I think through sacking the various carrion feeders, we'll probably get there. Maths is quite tough. Obviously we're sacking to go push in for damage. So 11, 21, 26, 31. 12, 18, 24, 35. 12, 18, 24, 35, right? I think that's enough. We can sack here, but if not, 29, 35, yeah, I make that 35. So we get there. Ooh, got a bit tense because my clock was running down there, but yeah, obviously they had a lot of ways they could have. It would have been nice if we'd have drawn another Mesmeric Fiend. We had some good draws we didn't hit. We were really close to just dying. I think they probably could have chipped in for some damage somewhere to kill us through that stupid Nightblade. But yeah, we're kind of fortunate that we managed to get through the Brood Scale. They only have one layer of protection. Hello. So just as a wrap up, we finished in 9th place, 6-2 record, and two of the players, so 3 players have the 63.54 for the opponent match win percent. We get let down by a game win percent, but yeah, very happy with this showing for this deck. I think this is a pretty, refined, pretty tuned list. I'm not 100% sold on the 2 Unexpected Fangs in the main deck. I feel like some other form of life gain would be quite valuable, especially when we bring in up to 4 snuff outs. The Accursed Mord is kind of a latest addition for bogles, but yeah, part of the fun of this deck. You can imagine there's a huge amount of different black cards that you could tailor different matchups depending on what you play against. As I say, I mostly play leagues where there's so much mono red running around that I'm on my 2 Unexpected Fangs main, and the whole 4 Weather the Storm in the sideboard. Fear of Lost Teeth, for example, a new card that came out, quite recently. Nested Shambler for another one of the kind of token generating, double creature token generating effects. Otherwise, it's really missing a way to consistently give trample, I think. There's a few situations where we had, a huge creature beating down against, say a Glee deck, but we just get, our 11/11 gets blanked by a County Garden token, for example. So still, I think opportunities for the deck to improve, or definitely new cards could come out. There's quite a few new cards in this list, but yeah, this is my list. This was how my event went. I hope you enjoyed watching, and possibly see you in the next one.